Welcome back to another episode of my journey to 10,000 rating. This game was after a losing streak on Thursday night. Oh, wait, it doesn't spawn a fucking demon, it spawns a Murloc. It's now Saturday, but I'm currently at like 8,500. But this game took place 8,120, something around that range.
My name's Choo Choos. I've spent over 10 years competing in League of Legends professionally around the world. Now, as a full-time corporate rat, I want to figure out how to climb games as efficiently as possible. Follow my journey as I reach for the top 1% across multiple titles.
This was by far the most fun game I've had playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds so far. And it's a buddy lobby, so I don't know all the buddies, but I kind of play them as I see them. But early rounds for this game, I didn't really think too much of. Some buddies are really strong, some are a lot weaker. I ended up getting one of the weaker ones, so it's still better than the other two options. Maybe there's an argument for the other two to have a stronger board, level 1, but I saw as versus scenario, so I went with one that could maybe give me a bit of value later on. I feel like my climb has been really streaky. It's either been I'm winning a lot or losing a lot. I'm trying to pinpoint what I'm doing wrong, and I think that's why I enjoy doing these commentaries, because I can be a bit more critical on when I have a good shop, what I should be doing. In this case, I get this elemental in the 5/5 just to try and get value out of my my Death Rattle Divine Shield guy. Some would argue leveling to 3 here is also good, just so you can get tier 3 buddies. But I think I'd lost about 200 LP heading into this game, and you end up playing... Oh, I end up playing a bit more conservative. This was a difficult turn. I didn't know if I was going to level. I really wanted to level on turn 4. Like, ideally you have to use the 1 gold, 5 in a 1-cost spell, but it didn't feel good. I ended up buying, I got the Rooster, and okay, I got the Elemental, and I think I felt a lot more confident. I definitely had a stronger board with the double Divine Shield procs, so I'm slow to level, but I haven't been given a position to really level comfortably. So here's my trinket. 4 options. I haven't played this guy very much. I know that Tiggetus's hero power costs 4 gold. Book of Medivh could be really strong this game. Considering there's dragons, undead. There's a few things that could work well with Tavern tier spells here. But so did the undead option, which is my first Death Rattle triggers an additional time. Now I took this, and as you can see, my choices aren't very good because I was Tavern tier 2. If I was Tavern tier 3 the turn prior, before my trinket procced, before my passive procced, I may have been offered better choices. So I don't know if it was a misplay on my part, buying the Rooster and the Elemental the turn prior, but I think on this hero I should be looking to be Tavern tier 3 when I'm using my hero power. First time up of the game, I didn't feel very happy with this one. I ended up taking the Mech card because I had the buddy, which maybe I should have been happy with that. But goldening that buddy during combat, ensuring that if everything else dies, all 6 other minions die, I'll be able to get 4 mechs per turn. So I was pretty happy with that. I just needed to find a way for this thing to stay alive and ensure that the rest of my board wasn't too strong. Here I'm tossing up about what minion I want. Do I want the Divine Shield Dragon or the deer? Because I do want to level here.
Great. Let's get some better minions in here. To work.
I am set up for quite a strong economy now. That's my economy unit done. It's also a bit of my scaling unit. And I'm tier 4, so hopefully it gives me a tier 4 mechs or something of value. I also discovered this game, as you can see, Probius, the Protoss mech, is in the lobby as a tier 4, which goldens anything it magnetizes to, which could give you a bit of indication of how this game ends up. I'm tossing up here if I want to play I want to play 6 minions, because the thing on my far right is for sure going to be the last thing that dies, hopefully. And that will ensure I get all of the procs done. So I magnetize one and play one. Now, there's an argument that I probably should have sold one, got the extra money for next turn, and played one. But giving my mech the extra stats made me feel a bit more comfortable that I'd get those four mechs every combat. Looks like this guy was looking for some kind of Carapace build. He's buffed his Taventia spells a bit. Just trying to get to 5 by that end game. Stun Drake is probably still the strongest board. I feel like Stun Drake is almost always the strongest board. But you do need to be rich to get there. As you can see, I end up getting a bunch of good mechs. I sell a good amount of my board, and at this point, I felt confident I could start leveling to 6 and finding my endgame board, my endgame units.
Oh, you're moving up in the world.
Utility drone. I'm high rolling. It's like the best card I can find here. Buying Titus may have been a mistake. I did want it for this combat, just so it taunts things. And what I learned this game is that when this elemental procced, it never went on my copter, my time warped Avenge unit. And I think that's because it already has Divine Shield on it. Now, someone could probably clarify if that's the case, but my time warped Divine Shield unit never got taunted, which ruined my income. But if that's the case, it was a really good combo, because everything else was guaranteed to die before then. I think this was the combat I started getting a little nervous. My board was scaling, but this guy didn't have a line he was playing, but he was just really strong. So I take 13 here, and I started being a little concerned, but I did level to 6. Second time warp, I end up finding Electron. I already have Utility Tron, and I have 2 ways of generating Taventia spells. So I for sure should not take that. I should take Beetles, because I want Avenge to proc. So I've already noticed something I've done wrong. Increasing my stats 14 times seems quite easy with this time warp. I'm also thinking I probably should have sold Titus instead of that mech, because every time I play a mech, it's getting +3/+3. So I've noticed 2 mistakes I've done. But here I'm really just looking for Drakari, more utility drones, or Probius. I throw a lot of my gold at buying these quest buddies, because I know that sometimes they can instantly proc and give you 8 gold, say if your warband has 25 attack power, but I don't find any of those. So this round was a bit dicey. I think because I was versing the guy who was coming last. I didn't think he would be that strong. I get lucky and discover another utility drone. But this was a bit worrisome because I wanted to try find my scaling, which I did, but it also felt like I wasn't scaling fast enough. I also proc my spell here, which I didn't calculate at the time. I probably could have bought the buddy that shows you the highest cost of everyone, but I'm really tunneled on buying tab and tier spells, trying to proc as many magnetizers as I can, just so when just so that my board scales a bit faster, rather than spending the gold on a minion.
Don't tell the others.
This guy's board was really surprising. It was actually really well set up. I take a 15 here. And that puts me on 6 HP, where I'm all of a sudden thinking, oh my god, I thought I was high rolling, but why is everyone so much stronger than me? So Frog is perfect here. I can start buying minions and spells based on what I'm really looking for.
Doesn't destroy you, makes you stronger.
Yes, Master?
That's quite the army you're building, friend.
Rylak doesn't work with much here. I don't care about... Does Rylak... I guess I could find the 5 cost that gives me spells. Gotta make sure my hand doesn't get full here. Thankfully I do get the gold as well. That's 10 in my hand. Would have been really sad if that didn't work. Maybe it could have changed hero power. Here I need to cast some spells before I play. I think I tunneled too much on the photo bomber, considering my passive was proccing twice.
That's what I would have picked.
Because this thing only really works with Titus and McCaw. But I was thinking maybe I could snipe something in an undead lobby, or so I end up keeping it on the board and selling my 9 frogs. I would also think maybe buying tab in tier 2s was better, just so I could find strike oil instead of buying the tab in tier 6. And here I'm out of time, so I'm just buying everything I can. Don't find anything solid in my shop. I find Reborn, but my end game here is I just need to play spells. I'm going to spend all my gold buying spells and rolling till I find cheap spells. Finding Jakari was a bit of a lifesaver. I think I probably should have still won this, but I think in hindsight, playing the buddies that gave me gold when I was at 26 HP was a little sketchy. Maybe I should have just been looking for Probiuses or Jakari a bit more. At this point, I really want to start tunneling. I need to free up board space, but I can't sell anything. The photo bomber is ideally what I would probably cycle, but considering I've magnetized it like 10 times, I can't. And I find double Jakari here, so this gives me an opportunity to empty my hand.
That's quite the army you're building, friend.
Because the more I play this game, the more I realize that I can't sell anything. Everything's being magnetized at the same rate every time I cast these spells. Here, I should probably Divine Shield something. I could roll and find more Tavern Tier spells. But, what do I do? Okay, I do Divine Shield something. And then I buy the gold, right? Right. Okay. Now this 6 cost, I'm kind of hoping it is my utility drone, but it's not. So I'm now just stuck with this thing in my hand. I don't have a board space to play and sell it.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
This guy was for sure struggling to figure out what he wanted to play. I think after this fight, I felt confident I was going to win. It was just a matter of like, I just need to keep scaling and finding new ways to get Tavern Tier spells, which makes me think even more, I really shouldn't be playing Photo Bomber. Even though it's like sunk cost fallacy, it's been on the board for so long, I need to be able to cycle cards. Like I should be able to buy the thing on my far left. That kind of vibe. But again, I have a hero power that procs death rattles twice, so I felt super invested to making this thing stay.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
I'm probably just looking for utility drone here to triple, but I find something even better. You would have guessed it. It is 2 Probiuses.
That's what I would have picked.
Now there's probably a debate here if I should be using this on the utility drone or the Electron, and right now I think I'm about to go to my other monitor and have a look at what the golden version does. The golden version will essentially magnetize twice instead of once, and doing the math in my head rewatching this, it should be better to golden the time warped minion, just because not that it magnetizes twice, but because it actually gives them the stats of the magnetized unit twice. Goldening the utility drone like I did here makes it go from +4 to +8, but it doesn't factor in the actual stats of the units that are being magnetized, which should be +4. So that was a mistake, but not the dumbest. So we're versing Cenarius, always scary. If Cenarius has made it this far and he's at the top of the lobby, you're pretty concerned. Looks like he's trying to play a Photo Bomber build. I'm not entirely sure what this guy was trying to do. Oh, that's my dog. This guy may have just been getting some pretty lucky fights. That might have been it. So I was so tunneled on finding more Probiuses that I bought the utility drone.
Go big or go home, I always
I really wanted to find Devourer so I could eat my my far left, my Photo Bomber, because at this point I realized I don't really care about the death rattle. I'm just looking for more Probiuses. Probably the best thing I could have done was played that buddy I was just hovering over. The end of turn, give yourself 2 Tavern Tier spells and golden it with eyes and cycled through that, just because I'm not actually getting... I need to be able to cycle through my hands. I'm holding 3 minions and I'm not generating enough Tavern Tier spells. As good as the unit on my left is, for a better endgame board, I should be cycling through things, particularly because I'm getting spells which keeps discovering minions in my hands. I need to be able to cycle through these. Just makes you realize how valuable it is. You need to have one spot that you can cycle.
I think you can win this thing.
This guy was getting scary. He found a mortal. but I think he found Titus a little too slow, so he's also not generating any volumizers in his hands, so that this Immortal isn't growing. But he may have actually found an angle to outstat me this game with Immortal. But he got there a little too slow. So he was coming first, 24 HP. I get 25, and he gets knocked down to a 4th third. And then I'm playing against Eudora for the final spot. I find the Golden Probius, which is kind of the crowning achievement to have my time warped golden. And then I also find another Probius, which I almost roll past. But I've never been able to pull off this board before, where I get the Time Warp minion that magnetizes everything, and then I get the utility drones with Jakari. I've wanted to play this board a lot of times, but I've never been able to find it. So this was pretty stupid, but a lot of fun.
That's what I would have picked. A good tactical choice. Let's see.
I'm trying to see how many stats I get. I get 1500 stats on my utility drone. So my entire board is getting around 1500 times 6 units. Yeah, I'm getting about close to 10,000 stats a turn. And this guy, I don't know how he made it this far with the Battle Cry Welt builds, but this one seemed like a bit of a matchmaking game. I versed 2 really strong players that put me down to 6 HP, but thankfully I got scaling just in time. But by far the most fun game I've had in Battlegrounds.